How do I say goodbye to incredible show? Through the good times that made us cry and made us cry. It's all the trauma. It's all the trauma. We done died. We've been resurrected. We done lost arms. There was demons. There was white people. There was even more monsters. We have come to the season finale of HBO's LoveCraft Country. We made it, y'all. We made it. Hello. Welcome to your Patreon exclusive live dissection. I am your host, JustLatasha. I want to thank you guys for not only being with me for these 10 episodes, but being with me through 3 seasons of shows. We did Insecure, we did I May Destroy You, and we just finished LoveCraft Country together. What a journey. This isn't ending, but we are in limbo deciding what series we're going to do next. So, you guys did pitch The Shy and Bly Manor. I'm going to keep it real with you. I don't like either of those shows. Sorry! Sorry! I don't like either of those shows. And since Halloween is approaching, and one of my favorite, if not my favorite genre, if you couldn't tell, is horror, going to be dissecting Us, the movie, tomorrow live at 6 p.m. EST. Jordan Peele's Us, starring Lupita Nyong'o. Yahya Abdul-Mateen had no business. Look at that goddamn good. But he did. Hi, everyone in the chat. Listen, you guys are in for a treat because it's not only me today. Every last dissection Sunday on Patreon, I give VIP access to the dissections. That means I am joined by a special few who will join me on video, give their opinions. Y'all get to see them and hear from them and talk to them. So this is going to be very inclusive. So this is a special day. This is a very, very special day. We're going to have so much fun. I want to say hi to people tuning in. Cassia, Mademoiselle, Stacy, Cleve, what up, Xylent? What's up, Mac? I see you in there. Young Royalty Productions, Iana, Le Naturally, Christian. If you're new, give us a ring. I see the hearts in the chat. If you're new, say hello. If you've been here a minute, say hello to the new folks. Welcome. Y'all know this is a love room. Y'all know how we do. Veronica's in here. Mara Sharice is in here. Mara Sharice is crazy. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. She been making me laugh throughout the live shows, and she made me laugh on Twitter. She's ridiculous. She's really ridiculous, but I enjoy it. So much fun. And Khaled in the chat and on the video at the same damn time. Y'all gonna see Khaled today giving those brilliant opinions. Listen, guys, we have come full circle, literally the title of LoveCraft Country season finale, full circle. I thank you for being patrons. I thank you for being enthusiastically supportive. I love your energy. I love your minds. I love your ideas. So here we are. We're going to do it, all right? Is y'all ready? Can we get started? I like to just give a little buffer time just to allow people to get into the room. So they're going to get here when they get here, all right? Y'all should have got your YouTube notifications by now. Y'all should have been on by now. Y'all know what was happening this whole week. So let's do it. LoveCraft Country season finale, full circle. And I'm going to keep it real funky with y'all. This episode didn't give what it was supposed to give. I'm sorry. All the amazing things you've shown me all season. This finale wasn't the flavor. The flavor didn't go where I would like it to have had gone. The flavor. To keep it real with you, I love TV and movies. I love Black screenwriters and Black filmmakers. I'm going to say when I wasn't into it. Wasn't given what it was supposed to give. And here's why. Because if we talk about full circle, we have to start in the beginning. So before we even jump into episode 10, I want to take a visit back to the pilot, to episode 1. where we see the connections that set up for the last episode we saw. Iana agrees and said it didn't, it fell flat. Kaylin says she agrees. Zylan says, yeah, this wasn't my favorite episode. And Young Royalty says this felt rushed. What happened, Lovecraft Country, please? Because how do we go from here? Look at this. This is a Cthulhu. Do you know I had to teach myself how to speak Charlotte so you guys can understand what the hell's going on? I didn't even know how to say none of these words. So you gonna make me humiliate myself and try to pronounce Cthulhu and Shoggoth and Yog Shoggoth, and y'all ain't even get to us. We ain't seen this thing again since the beginning. We only dealt with Shoggoth this entire season, and that is a stage 1 monster. The fuck? So I thought what we was gonna do was like hit you off in the pilot with the Shoggoth and then incrementally get bigger and scarier monsters. We didn't do that. Y'all said this is what it is. I think they ran out of CGI budget. We said we can give you a small blob. We cannot give you an octopus and wings and a blob. You're going to have to pick one. HBO said, cool. Signed out. What the hell? What the hell? Where the fuck was the Red Princess? Like, why'd you show me that? And this is when people, like, they submit their scripts to me so they can have some feedback and X, Y, and Z. And whoever submitted their scripts to me, I tell them this. Do not tell me something in your story if you're not going to use it later. Because then why did you give me the information? Right? And people are like, oh my gosh, Tasha, you must have hated my script. Oh my gosh, this is really in depth. Baby, it's detail. Like this is how you tell stories. If you're going to show me something, if you're going to say this character is here and this plot point is here and this is what happened, it has to mean something later. Why did you tell me that? Because my brain and any audience that you're going to give it to is going to remember and be waiting to use that information for something later. Right? So I'm not sitting here saying HBO wrote their script wrong. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm just saying, I'm asking why you gave me a whole Red Princess and what happened? Y'all didn't give me the god I asked for. I said Diana has to be a god. What happened? Y'all threw an arm on a child and still left her alone. Y'all gave her an arm and said, here. That ain't the god I asked for. I said Diana's a god. But we're gonna get into more of that. In the beginning, there was Tick's book. And a lovely elder Black woman wanted to speak to him about what he was reading and got curious when they got kicked off the bus and had to walk back into town. And Tick says this. He's reading A Princess of Mars, where an army captain goes from being a man to a Martian warlord. And he continues later in the pilot and says, stories are like people. Loving them doesn't make them perfect. You try and cherish them. Overlook their flaws. And this right here is the foundation of how we were experiencing this story. So many of us and y'all had emotions about the characters. We didn't like them. Why they make that decision? Oh, I feel so bad. I cried so hard. You ended up attaching yourself. We ain't got to call it love, but you ended up attaching yourself to the characters because they weren't perfect. There's deep, traumatic flaws that for many felt too real. We're going to get into that rant as well today. Buckle in, y'all. We're going to be here for a while. Matter of fact, let me start my rant right now. And if y'all follow me on Twitter, y'all saw me tweet this. I feel like the Black audience, much of the Black audience at this point is starting to put Black filmmakers and screenwriters in a chokehold. What's what I mean by that? I think what's being asked by the Black audience to the Black filmmakers is becoming too large and in depth, where you're setting up people who are here to entertain you to fail. They don't know you. They don't know your particular struggles. They don't know your individualistic wants and desires from the show that they're creating. So if you all, millions of you are looking for individualistic answers from a TV show or movie, you're setting them up to fail, because how can they answer you when they don't even know what conversation they're supposed to be having with you? This is the story that they wanted to tell. And they're only human. They only have their limited POV. They only have their limited personal experience. And they only have the story that they specifically want to tell to you all. Also, when the Black audience creates these huge asks from Black TV and film, you have to question yourself on why this TV show needs to answer such complex and in-depth questions that you specifically have. Why does this TV show need to answer those things for you? So I was speaking to this incredible college student yesterday who's writing a thesis on Black horror and its relation to the reality of Black trauma and the life that we live. Shout out to you. She was a brilliant, wonderful young lady. And we were discussing why Watchmen, that spawned from the Tulsa massacres, got so much love versus Lovecraft Country, which takes more human flaws and the Tulsa massacres and got so much hate. And I was like, what was that? What was the difference in that? And this chokehold comes into play right here. A lot of the Black audience has trouble standing work that doesn't reflect them. White Hollywood has told our Black narratives for so long, since the beginning of time, that we've asked for representation. And so we asked for representation, and because they control the narrative of what Blackness looks like, we wanted to put our very real experiences on TV. So when we see our real experiences on TV, we like that. And when we create this fantastical, out-of-worldly thing that doesn't relate to Blackness and the race and the reality, and we put them in a fantasy world, it's so unrelatable that we don't stand it. We don't like it. We don't watch it. We don't get it. A lot of Black folks quit the show. They're like, I don't even know what's going on. It was so fantastical and so dimensionally universal that you were just like, what is even happening here, right? But you ask to see yourself on TV. You ask for representation. So you have a sister duo who was abandoned by their mother, who might have been a prostitute. You have this father to son trauma. You have someone who might not have been your father. You have Black racist activities. You see yourself. This is what you asked for. But then it's so triggering that you're signing up. So you asked for representation, you got it, you hate it, and then it showed you something Black and fantastical, you hate it because it didn't relate to you and didn't reflect you individually. Something's got to give. Something's got to give. I think this show had a really unfair ask by the Black audience. It's an alien sci-fi horror thriller drama. And in horrors, people die. Like people die. And what I really didn't understand was how people hated the show and watched it till episode 9. Personally, I disengage from things I don't like. It's a very easy decision for me. Instead of asking this thing to be something that I want it to be, I go, I don't like that. And I find something else. It brings me peace. It brings me clarity. It's nice. So I say all that to say, this finale wasn't even that hot. I'm just kidding. I say all that to say that it's okay to enjoy things. It's okay to not enjoy things. It's okay to make a different choice about the things you choose to enjoy or not. If something is causing you trauma and triggering and suffering, turn it off. Turn it off. Who was that? Al Green? Turn it off. No, Teddy Pendergrass. Turn it off. Turn it off. Zylan says, I will say the issues I have with the show are there, but we can discuss that later. We're going to get into it. Liams says, it's because we still have years of Black trauma to depict. We are going from the beginning of representation. This is our Civil War phase of the cinematic revolution. Well, shit. Whew. Is it? I want to fight. I want to watch TV. Y'all go ahead and do it. this is the Master of Ceremonies look today. I decided to get dolled up for you guys because this is a special moment. Now that all of that is said, we are here in the pilot with these very flawed characters who we've loved, who we've hated. So let's take a last look at how we've come full circle. This was a hidden gem in this pilot, and this was so this was so good. Destiny's Child, the original Destiny's Child, where we meet George Freeman and Hippolyta for the first time in bed on this beautiful Sunday morning, right? And Hippolyta says, George Freeman, you got me blushing before God. And George says, well, let's give him a show. And they get to going, and it's nasty. Blushing before God. Right as they say that, the next person we see is Miss Diana Freeman herself, the creator. We said this last time, which is why I don't understand why she's not a god. Give me season 2 because she's not a god. What happened? I thought we agreed. Creating Arinthia Blue from the inspiration of her mother, literally drawing Arinthia Blue from her mother, the creator. And of course, they're giving little Diana a show because they out there hunching and moaning in the back, and she is so disgusted until we meet Diana and Tick. If y'all follow me on social media, I've been talking about this shot forever, but I'm gonna make you wait for it. I'm not doing it yet. We learned in the pilot that Montrose actually didn't write this letter, and you can remember George Freeman saying, that don't sound like Montrose, right? Luring Tick to Artem, having to go to LoveCraft country to obtain his birthright. We know now that this letter was from Christina the whole time. And it's so funny because I remember speaking about the song being in the show, the song choices were odd. And right here, before they switch scenes, Tierra Whack's song named Clones comes on. Christina cloning herself, humming these masked bodies, driving around town as well. So they played Tierra Whack's Clones on. Right. And we remember speaking about Artem in the actual Lovecraft Country universe, that Artem is the town of a scientist known as the Reanimator. He brings back corpses, reanimating the dead, as we've seen Letty do 1.5 times now. Which is why I don't understand why George and Tick remain dead, but whatever. Right. And Tick learns of his missing father from Sammy, the owner of the bar, who says Montrose left with a man so rich and looked like a lawyer. And right as he says that, we meet Ruby, who's singing what? I want a tall, skinny papa. William, your daddy left with a tall, skinny papa and a rich car looking like a lawyer. I want a tall, skinny papa. They put that right in our face. Kachaba, if you can go on mute for me, baby.
No problem.
They put that right in our face. And Letty says something to Ruby as she comes back storming into town from wherever she at. Ruby, we can get our own house. There's a whole lot of colored folks pioneering to white neighborhoods now. And we remember one of the titles to the episode, Pioneering is Dangerous, before they have to fight the whole white town people. All these clues in here, all these clues. And we almost done with this pilot. We're almost getting there because I want to jump into my VIPs who are in the room as well. Diana used to draw on George's map as he was developing the Safe Negro Travel guidebook. And we have a series of 3 shots that tell us the whole thing. From episode 1 to the season finale, you see Diana's drawing on the map, Devon County. Is this Devon or Artem? I might have wrote the wrong thing. That might be Artem. Where there's a ticking clock and a grim reaper. To the next shot, which is Tick traveling. To the 3rd shot, which is Williams/Christina's car. Tick, AKA the ticking clock, time of death, aka this is all going to happen, this is your fate. 3 shots. Told us the whole story. And we ain't know that was William's car in the beginning. We just, why they stopping on that car? He was being stalked by Christina the whole time. And the last note of the pilot. The last note of the pilot, where we have George and Hippolyta. As they're in a different town, George calls home just to check in. And he offers Hippolyta this. On the next guide trip, why don't you and I go together? Which fills Hippolyta up because she wants adventure. She wants travel. She doesn't want to be this small housewife. But we know as viewers that George never comes home. So they're separate in both the physical spaces and the metaphysical spaces, but through Arinthia Blue, that wish is granted. They can travel together once again. Why are How can you be mad at this show? I can't. Le Naturally says there's so much Black art out there, but on the main stage, HBO can do more. They all can do more because we out here. They all can do more. That brings us to the finale, full circle, and we have our opening shot, our tilted, safe Negro travel, because traveling ain't safe. Traveling. And what did George Freeman say? He said, Woody's going to outlast us all. And that car is just going. That car is just going. And we see that we have to save Dee Freeman, who is turning into this pickaninny. We are on the road to save Dee. And through Tick's bloodline, both Letty and Tick are able to access the ancestors. We have Letty with Hattie covering the spells in the Book of Names, and she's able to access this space because she is carrying Tick's bloodline. She is carrying his unborn son. And Tick is just out there in the fire with Hannah, right? So I'm excited to talk to my VIP patrons who are in the room. Whoever would like to speak, please take yourself off of mute. House rules, keep it short and sweet. And we're just gonna get everybody a chance to go ahead and say what they gotta say. Y'all let me know when y'all are done. But we have our first question for y'all here. Our full circle moment, our first full circle moment. What do you guys dissect from the full circle use of the fire? We remember how the Freemans died in the fire during the Tulsa massacre, to the power now that Hannah is trying to teach Tick. So what are you guys reading from this full circle moment with the use of fire?
I want to go ahead and start from.
Come on, Christine.
Okay. What I'm thinking about with the fire is the full circle is the fire in the beginning was it brought death to the family, danger and death. And now in this ancestral plane, it's to protect and keep their lineage going. So it went from something being bad to something being good, representing good. That's what I'm thinking.
Thank you. Who else want to jump in?
Well, I would just add to...
I can hop in. Go ahead.
Let's do Tia and then Khaled.
Okay, thanks. So I would just add to what Christine was saying in terms of, Hattie, I think that's her name. I'm bad with names, but she mentions how like she had to learn what it was, and it was sort of like kind of understanding herself, understanding the situation she was in, and gaining strength from that. And that was, to me, that was sort of another theme with the fire, because she realized what it was, and then she was able to share it with the rest of her family.
Passing down that power. Yes, yes, yes. What's up, Khaled?
I think I can sort of think it as like a circle of life kind of thing, because essentially Hannah thought that this place was hell, and that's why she took her own life, because she didn't want to suffer. But then she realized that, this could be my own space. This can be my own afterlife, essentially. So maybe it's sort of like this thing which we thought was hell is actually the afterlife.
I'm in it. I agree with all of you. I absolutely agree with all of you. I remember the God figure telling Hippolyta when she was captured, this is not a prison. Like, you're wilding out, sis. Like, this is not a prison. Think of this differently. Use this moment differently. Use this suffering differently, right? And we remember when Hannah set the Braithwaite mansion on fire, killing Titus. And then we remember the white racist setting the Freeman's home on fire, killing Tick's lineage. And in this burning ancestral plane, Hannah tells Tick she hid their bloodline from all who know magic, aka white people. Right? She hid their bloodline here. And knowing that this was her rage, Black women are taught to suppress their anger. We don't want to play into the stereotype. We don't want to make people mad or uncomfortable. When you realize your anger is a power, okay? Realize your anger is a power and know when to use it and cultivate it to serve you. You could pass that power down. Another full circle moment. Hannah says that in this ancestral place, she thought it was hell, as Khaled said, because she kept dying over and over and over. And that reminds me of Christina, who curses people with 1,000 deaths. Christina bringing death, Hannah trying to use it to prevail life, right? Or also even like Gia, who was a Kamiho who kills 100 men. Or like Tick, who's killed hundreds of men and women, right? This is a gift, Hannah discovers. This is a gift. And Hattie tells Letty on the other side, do not bind the book with your fear. Do not cripple your son with your doubts. You have a choice in your lineage. Are you going to pass the trauma? Or are you going to pass life? Are you going to pass the gift instead? Death or life in your lineage, choose, right? We kill ourselves 1,000 times when we live in the memory of trauma, replaying that over and over and over again, and then passing that fear to our children. Don't do that because this is what's going to happen because that's what happened to me. Not necessarily true. Change how that can serve you. Dora says to Tick, when Tick meets his mother a little bit later, you have to sacrifice for a greater purpose. This is a beginning, not an end. Y'all in Artem dying. I'm gonna need a season 2 with the reanimated. Bring Tick back, bring George back, and turn Dee to a god. They need to stop playing. I hope this is not the only season. Let's move on. We have the ancestral prayer to revive Dee, giving us the meaning that you are the link between the living and the dead. We're all connected. Letty remembering Hattie's spell to start binding Christina from magic. And in order to enact this spell, you have to link the 3 bodies, Tick, Christina, and Titus. In order for this spell to work, to bring down Christina, all 3 bodies must be linked. Naturally says, fire often represents growth or discipline in yoga tapas, means self-discipline. For me, Hannah had to discipline herself and channel her rage. Absolutely. Because how many times are we going to keep on dying? We want to make a choice, right? Max says, sorrow is joy in another reflection. You getting deep. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, so y'all saying we need a season 2. Yes, Mara, how could I forget? Bring Ruby back. Duh, of course. Look, they keeping the Shoggoth in Letty's basement. Why the fuck they ain't use it? And it kind of scurried off. He did a little tap and it ran away. I think it ran to Artem. It was like, meet me in Artem or something like that. And the thing is fast, I imagine. Why do it need a head start? I don't understand the Shoggoth. I don't understand why he got to get as a gift and then use it. You know how quick this Christina thing would have been over if I had a Shoggoth? Anyway, it don't matter. It's not about me. It's about them. It's not about me. We get back into the basement of the museum. Titus Braithwaite's not resting place, but his fucking site of things. I don't know. But some really interesting here happen. I want to pay attention to the visuals because essentially Letty and Tick are sort of in like this reversal, this mirror image of each other, right? But Letty has this light behind her. She has two shadows behind her. Meanwhile, Tick is in front of a void. So I'm gonna jump back into my VIPs who are here. Come on and unmute yourselves if you have an opinion about what do you think this visual means about the characters, about why they're here. What do we think this visual means? Nothing is wrong or right. We just here to think and have fun.
I guess I'll go again. I'm just thinking, okay, so with Letty's shot, like for me, to me, it seems like the light represents that she's going to continue on with the legacy and being protector of the magic and all that kind of stuff. And then because she's facing the light, and now Tick, his back is away from, like, he's in the shadows, means represents to me like foreshadowing of what's to come for him, that this is the end for him because it's being passed on to Letty and his seed. That's what I'm thinking.
I think I see like two people when I see the shadow, Letty's shadow. It looks like a little boy behind her and her shadow. I don't know if anybody else see that, or but for Tick, it looks like he's going towards the light, like he's going into the afterlife.
Mm.
Yeah, notice
Okay.
the oh, go ahead.
Okay, so for me, it actually looks like the void actually looks like his past, as if his past is, there's a lot more that's going on in his lineage that we don't know yet. And she's in the light, which, and light usually means truth. So she's his present and also his future, but she's holding his future, as well as she's the truth that he's been holding on to, that helps him out with this whole journey. But there's still more in the past that hasn't been spoken yet.
What? Ma'am!
We are brilliant. Yes.
Y'all, I'm hyped. She got me there. She got me. Good luck, Callie. What you gonna say next? No, I'm just kidding.
Listen, I can't top that, but I was gonna agree with Ellen saying that the shadow, I think, represents her unborn son. Essentially, like his blood is what the magic is where her magic comes from. So I think that's what it represents.
I'm again with y'all. I think all of it. Tick is giving grave to me. It's giving like void, darkness, death, and ending. It looks like a grave to me. Meanwhile, Letty, like y'all was saying, is leading a people, right? She's in the forefront of people. Or double entendre, she's literally calling the ancestors for help. They are not physically in the present with her, but they are very much spiritually in the presence with her. So she may look like she's alone, but she absolutely is not. She absolutely is not. Silence says, this scene was great, but annoyed me because I was like, Tick, all you have to do is restrain this motherfucker, and you couldn't do it without Black women helping your ass twice. You a military vet, get it together. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy. I'm not calling the Shoggoth King or Shaft. I'm not calling him that. I'm calling him a disappointment because you were supposed to fight and you ain't come out until way later. You ain't do nothing. He's a disappointment. King. The ancestors return, helping to bind Titus in the physical. We have our full circle moment where Titus, his body is cut by a Black man, as these white evil magicians have done to Black and brown bodies over centuries, right? Using the bodies, murdering the bodies for their selfish gain. Tickets, that should give that right back to you. He gave it right back to you. I'm gonna take your body now. Each ancestor is thanked and sent back. They almost got me. I almost cried. When they thanked the ancestors. That's where they got me at. And Tick was having trouble saying bye to Dora, his mama. And I was like, get back. Don't do it. Get back inside. Stop. A full circle moment where Hippolyta was erased when naming a comment to now she can tell her daughter that she freely enters the universe, naming herself anything. She names a comment. She names one speck of the universe, and that was taken from her. Now she uses the universe to name herself anything. Very powerful stuff. Let's talk about intention because we have to get back to the magic to kill this white woman. We need to get Christina's body to link to Tick and Titus in order to bind her from magic, in order to destroy her in the end. The only person that could get close enough to Christina to get a piece of her body is Ruby. And we need a bigger intention now to cast the magic. We already used the ancestors. We already did all that to save Dee and to even get us here. So now we need more people to like get a bigger power going, right? We get Hippolyta joining them, like, me and my baby coming. What's up? Let's talk about Christina real quick. This is a nice nasty. Very giving white feminism. Ask politely to kill Tick because it's just what she needs to do for herself. I need to do this spell. Just come and let me kill you. God. Let's talk about the violence of white women and non-Black women, if we're being honest, who offer to kill you softly. And then when you say no, you're bothering them. Why don't you just give me the book? I'll leave you alone. I just want to kill you. Come on. Using white men to access spaces, using and sexualizing Black women's body to get what you want, and setting the rest of you niggas up. So let's go about, I'm over Christina. Let's get out of there. Let's jump back into the audience. Tick calls Gia and apologizes for being disrespectful as heck to her a few episodes ago. He calls her to apologize for being so rude and teaches her what grieving is and says sorry. So I'm gonna ask y'all, and that's for both the chat and my VIPs, do y'all believe his apology?
I'm gonna say yes, just because I don't think her Kimeho powers, just not to jump ahead too much, but like she wasn't really part of the plan as far as trying to defeat Christina, so there's no point in him bringing her along. If it was fake, there was no reason for her to bring him to bring her.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say yes.
One vote for yes.
I will
say says I do. Sorry, go ahead, Tia.
I will say yes as well. And then another thing that I thought about her, when you talked about in the beginning, they showed us the Red Princess and they never brought her back. This is where I actually thought they did bring the Red Princess back, because a lot of people talked about her in this red outfit, and ultimately she does help him.
Yes. Yes. Cleve says yes, but he was still addicted first time. Royalty says I do. Go ahead.
I say yes, because niggas always trying to make amends before they die.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, if he didn't need her, would he have apologized?
Yeah, because he knew he was about to die. So he's like, let me go ahead and secure heaven. I don't know if he believes in heaven anymore after all this, but.
Well, it naturally says, I think his apology was real. He dying anyway.
I agree. I'll piggyback off what Elle said. It's like he's just trying to get right for Jesus before he had to go. Let me say sorry. I'm sorry for being trash. I'm sorry. Because I know I'm about to die, so there's no getting out of it. So, sorry.
This is exactly what I'm saying. I feel like his apology, not that it was fake, but it was self-serving. Like, I'm going to apologize to her because low-key I need her to ride with us. down to Artem, and I'm die soon, so let me clean up house. Like if nothing, none of this was hanging over his head. If him and Letty were good, pioneering out in white neighborhoods in the north side of Chicago in a house that he don't work for, would this apology have come? So
I seriously doubt it.
So I don't know. Xylan says L said what I wanted to say, because you trying to clean up to look cute before you got a face. You know, we don't know what color Jesus is in this universe. He might be white or black. We don't know. But this is Gia's first lesson in niggas ain't shit. Don't come here being soft and holding my hand and teaching me what grieving is when you the one who left and broke my heart and then curse me out for trying to make closure and fix it. Now you want to talk about teach me what grieving is.
And reimburse me on that Drake hotel bill. Reimburse me on that too.
Oh my gosh, y'all are crazy. Tick says something phenomenal to her before we sign out. You reminded me we have a choice. We could be monsters or heroes. Let's hold on to that and go ahead. Christian says the writers could have given that storyline more time. It was too rushed. They have this moment and then Gia's in the car with the whole family. And low key, this is what Tick says to Gia is family. Is like you feel like when you lose family, you feel like you lost a part of yourself. Gia just lost her mom, which was her only family. Tick is the closest family she got, even though they ain't good. Tick is like the only other person she has connection to. So at that point for Gia, she's probably like, fuck it. Like, I'm in Chicago. I ain't buy my ticket back. Like, I don't know. But yes, we should have known right about here. From this shot alone, we should have known, right? Haven't seen Ruby in white this entire season. White representing cleansing, rebirth, new beginnings. We saw baptisms dressed in white, the killing of the sin or the killing of the old self to be born anew. And this shot was really cool because it sort of pans and we see Letty revealed behind another tombstone. Everything is dead. Their mother, their relationship, what will happen to Ruby in a second, what happened to Letty before, all of it is dead. All of it is dead. And they don't believe that they're family. Ruby doesn't believe that they're a family because family, like Tick says, they sacrifice for each other. This is what family does. And their mother made no sacrifices for the two daughters here. So they're not family. And Letty has another favor. She asked Ruby to help them cast her spell by acquiring a piece of Christina's body. Will Ruby sacrifice for Letty and break their generational trauma? Will they fix this like Letty's just been asking her to? The answer is no. Because we come full circle again. How we end is how we began. When we met Letty and Ruby, the first thing Letty did was ask Ruby for a favor. And when these sisters are meeting their final end, Letty is doing what? She's asking for another favor. This is pissing Ruby off beyond means. We're not sisters. We're not family. This is all you want me for. You're so annoying. I'm going to get my white blonde back at home. And she sure did. Let's pay attention to the colors. Black versus white, they are in opposite places. They're in opposite values, heart spaces. Ruby asked Christina, how did you acquire my body for a spell? Oh, when you was pretending to be William and you was fucking me and my body just kept falling off all over the place and you just, okay, that's how you got my body. So then what Ruby does, even though she's mad at Letty, she thinks about helping. And Ruby starts having sex with Christina. She ain't never had sex with a woman before, but she's gonna try now. And now we know why Ruby engages in sex with Christina, because she's so mad at Letty, but she's gonna try, right? Let's talk about the sacrifices. given that color white that Ruby was just in, given this white baptism gown. It's giving death, it's giving sacrifice. And Letty tells Tick, all this time I've been chasing faith when I should have been looking to myself, because that's where he is. That's where God is in all of us. And we've seen these moments of sacrifice. We've seen these bodies laid across metaphorical crosses where someone's going to have to die in order for someone else to access life. That red princess descending from the UFO to save Tick from the Cthulhu. Uncle George having to had died in Arnhem, so they had a fighting chance to get Montrose out. Tick in the original spell from the Sons of Adam, having to use his body as a sacrifice so Mr. could go live in his eternal immortality, eat in a Garden of Eden or whatever. All these sacrifices being requested, all these deaths being near made. Let's get to the travel guide. I thought this was really cool because the cover is different and it could mean anything. It could be Montrose, Tick, and Dora, or it could be Tick and George Jr. and Letty. It could be anybody, right? The little 3-member family creating and finalizing the new travel guide, going on these adventures together as a family. Sun, 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 sun. Do my VIPs want to confirm who this is right now?
That's Christina.
It is Christina. We lost Ruby already. We ain't even know it. We sure lost Ruby already. And Ruby comes to deliver Christina's blood to Letty. And we think they're healed and we think they're on a journey and we think everything's fine, but it ain't. Which is why we're sitting in this car looking at Ruby through this guarded, divided window. It ain't Ruby. A mask. We are wearing a mask. Everybody's crushed about Ruby. Everybody's saying Ruby no. Cleve like that little Ruby Christina kiss. Okay, Cleve. Khaled, who's popping in the chat as well. I believe Ruby helped Letty because Christina says, if this spell doesn't work, I will have killed the last of my family for nothing. Ruby didn't like Christina using family because she's been used by family. Khaled, get your ass in here and talk about that. Brilliance. 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 Expound, please. Oh.
Yeah, like when they're in the basement, there was sort of that moment where Ruby was like, oh shit, like Christina is willing to kill family just for her own personal gain. And Ruby didn't like that, so she's like, okay, I might as well help Letty then, because she's my actual blood.
I missed that.
I think because she didn't say yes at the cemetery. I think it was when she was talking to Christina, she was like, all right, this is when I'm going to decide to help.
And Christina, I guess, killing the last of her family versus Ruby, where Letty is the last of her family. Mm-hmm. So would I be just like Christina if I allow Letty to die over some white poontang? Mm-hmm. Brilliant, sir. Thank you for being here. I totally missed that. I was actually questioning, like, what makes her go ahead and decide to change her mind? It's a pretty big decision. And yes, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Young Royalty Production says, I knew something was up, but I thought it would have been like the wrong vial of blood. Something was up. Let's talk about Black Joy. Is Black Joy a horror? Is Black Joy in itself a horror? And then this scene alone triggered so many folks on Twitter as I enticed. I agitated. There's a moment in some of our Black experience where we think if we're happy, we fear the other shoe's gonna drop. This job is too good, I might get fired. This partner I have loves me too much, they might leave. I finally making some money, or whatever it is, but you finally feel joy. There's something about the Black experience that teaches you not to trust it, in a matter of generational traumas, in a matter of race issues, in a matter of economic issues, being Black and broke. We internalize these negative happenings, and we say these things about Blackness and our Black experience that we actually, if we were to experience something outside of the Black suffering, we're like, what is this? So that uneasiness that we felt as an audience watching them to sing and be happy, we was like, oh, imagine that. What Cardi B said, imagine fucking that. Imagine fucking that. Well, we didn't trust these characters being happy and unified. That said so much without saying a thing. It said so much. It was right. It was, and Miss Eve 957 says, when they were singing, I was waiting for the invisible wall or monsters. Oh, that Christina Shield. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And like so many people on Twitter saw and noted that Ruby, even sitting here enjoying this moment and singing this white ass song that she hated in the pilot. Life could be a dream, shabow, bow, bow, boring. And now she in the back, life could be a dream. Life could be a dream. This was also the song that played when Tick first crossed that bridge in the back of the bus in the pilot. And he was sitting in the colors only section in the bus coming back into Chicago. And it was playing that song as he gave his middle finger to the Kentucky state sign or wherever he was at. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Zylan says, this scene really agitated my triggers of feeling something wrong will happen. This, to me, this is the same as when the Black people went to Get Out and we saw the police lights as Chris was killing his white girlfriend. He was killing Rose. And we saw police lights. All the Black people went, because we knew without a word what this Black man looks like killing a white woman and police showing up. We knew without a word what that felt like. And collectively here, Black people looking at this moment of joy and being like, I love when moments like that in TV and film happen. You ain't got to say a word. It's this understanding. It's this cultural understanding, this language that you speak to your people. Montrose didn't bring enough salt. Who brings one box of Morton's when your son's life is on the line? Who these niggas? Do my VIPs want to come into the chat and talk about these white townspeople? Because here's my confusion. These are the original townspeople of Artem when they arrived in episode 2. Were they in on Christina's plan from the beginning? Do they know who Christina is? Are they a part of the magic? Are they even alive? Are these like little sacks of meat masks walking around? Who are these niggas? Where they come from? What do they have to do with right now?
I think they are like her minions, and they're not like really alive. They're just like reanimated, like corpses or something that does her bidding for her or something like that. Some type of extension from her. That's what I'm thinking.
Because the way they came out, and I was like, what do they have to do with her plan? And why are they from the town? In the town, they were leaving them alone. That's when Dell was alive, when she was the groundskeeper. And so now I'm like, no, we haven't seen y'all since episode 2. We didn't even meet or talk to y'all. And now y'all are here helping the plan. So I was like, who else has a thought about who these people is? What's up, CJ?
They gave me very, very Children of the Corn type of feel.
Like this robotic marching in, hiding behind walls, like
they came out like roaches at night.
Okay, Christine. Everybody say good night to Christine. We saying bye. I heard somebody else.
That was me. I actually thought that they were just people that she had mind control over. Like you got to remember, we didn't know that the police officers and whatnot also had magic. So what if these are the same people that's connected to them that also had magic, but at the same time she had mind control over them for them to do her bidding, like they said, a minion.
I buy it. I buy it. Clevelo says poor whites just gotta get thrown money at them and boom, racism. How much was that? For a pack of knickers? Yes, I'll be there. What time? Okay, all right. Drop me a pin, bud. All right, see you at high moonrise. Oh, white people, I can't. We are about to cast this spell. We are setting up Tick, who's on his way to the lodge to meet Christina. And Letty's out there doing some blood binding in the back. And her and Ruby are at opposite ends of the room, opposite alignment, opposite desires and outcomes of this evening. And because of their conversation in the cemetery, Letty knows something is up because Ruby doesn't think of her as family. As the last time I talked to you, you was cursing me out. So now you're thanking me and wanting to help, and that's what family does. And I love you, sis. Where the fuck is my sister? Absolutely not, right? Absolutely not. But unfortunately, Letty got her ass beat. This is the second death-ish. I couldn't tell if she died, actually. I didn't know what the hell was going on. She dies again. Got her ass beat. One more could beat my ass at any point. I'm just putting that out there. Dee's alone again. Like, didn't we learn this already? Where the fuck was this nigga? This is what I'm talking about with this Shaga. This is why I'm not gonna call him king. Where the fuck was he at? And this is his only fight. Here's my thing, and this goes back into the writers of the show. You gave me a Shaga. Why didn't we use it? This is the only time we saw a Shaga in action. We own one, and this is all it did. Jumping back into my VIPs. Christina is the one who gave birth to this thing. So what do we dissect from that? This is something that belongs to Tick. This is a bloodline birthright. And if that's so, why would Christina birth it and or give it to Tick? If she gave it to Tick. What do y'all think this connection is?
I thought she birthed the white one.
And this black one is the one that came out the cattle.
Oh.
Yeah, and she was all slimy and talking about, this is my first time.
Well, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I think that maybe she gave it to him because she didn't think that he would be able to in any way use it against him, right? Like, because she has the ultimate control, and so she could give him that little crumb, so to speak, so he could use it against other people. But she really wasn't. She's never been concerned that they could harm her.
And yeah,
it's like, whatever, I'll give it to him. That's how I saw it.
I don't think she gave it to him. I feel like it was like more like, you know how they say a dog chooses their master. So I felt like the Shaga like chose to attach itself to Tick and chose to protect Tick.
This just in, the Shaga's new name is Crumb. I think that's the perfect name for it because that's what it gave. It gave me next to nothing. It left me starving and hungry. This Shaga that we have for no reason. So maybe Christina was right. Because after they done beat the white Shaga's ass, it should have headed down to Christina and tore the thing off the... Anyway, that's just my personal... I'll be mad.
Yeah, he that Shaga, the black Shaga, he did remember he did appear, I forgot what episode it was, when police officers started shooting at Tick. He came out up underground tunnel. He was tunneling underground, and then he popped up in front of Tick to stop the bullets from, hitting him, and then he attacked all the police officers and killed them. So he was used twice in this in this season. Maybe if they get a second season, he'll be utilized more.
Yeah. But like, if this is the big fight, wouldn't you call your monster? Like, wouldn't you be like, she right there, get her? Like, wouldn't you sick him? I just wouldn't go through with the plan the way we had talked about, because there's no way I'm gonna have a Shoggoth in my basement and not tear this white lady's head off. It's just me, but maybe she has powers to stop it or crush it or whatever. Maybe he wants to keep it for D. Who knows? Let me go into this chat real quick. I'm not playing with y'all. That naturally says Rufus the Kang Jenkins. That is not the Shoggoth's name. It's not the Shoggoth's name. I will not have this on this day. CJ says, I believe Tick conjured his own. Because there was a lot of spells in the episode when we first did see the Black Shoggoth. A lot of spells in the episode. Kaylin says, the Shoggoth's name is Rufus. We're not doing this. We're not doing this on this day. Xylan says, I didn't get this part until watching it twice and talked to my friend. It seems that Christina kept her promise and put the protection spell back on Letty before she died. Yes. You're talking about when Letty died the second time. Absolutely. I think the same thing. So I was like, why the hell that thing came back? But yes. So CJ says to get the Shoggoth, Tick and Montrose perform the spell. Okay. The way I would have used it, you would have let that Shoggoth would have left with some scars had it been me, because you getting messed up the way I'm getting messed up. You better get your ass outside. Get on, say it. Let's talk about sacrifice. Back to these full circle themes where we have Tick bearing himself on the cross, the way Jesus sacrificed for his people, the way Tick will sacrifice for his people. Going into that where we saw Ruby and Christina showing that black and white opposition, playing with those colors there as well. Christina using Tick's sacrifice to do what her daddy couldn't, what her daddy wished he could, but couldn't. Waking up Letty, like y'all said in the chat, Christina kept her promise. I'm not going to protect Tick. I'll protect you. But can I get Titus's pages? Can I get the book of names? Can I get something? And when that started to be threatened, Christina took that away, because now you playing, right? So once she got Tick where she want him and things are happening, her plan, go ahead, you can have that back. Go ahead and have that back. Tick. Letty dies twice, comes back, full circle moment. I tweeted this today because it was really cool. The infamous Letty run. First time away from the monster, this time towards it. Remember in the beginning, she was pleading in that cabin to Tick, I am so scared. I am terrified. How do you do this? You went to the military. You're so brave. I'm terrified. How do I do this? Look how brave our girl is now. Running to it. She want all the smoke. Go on, Letty. Becomes her own hero, right? Again, first time, black shirt. Second time, white shirt. I don't know if that was a mistake or not, but here's where I saw the Red Princess. Here's where I saw the Red Princess, because here's what we have to understand. This is what I said in the first dissection we did on this season. In the Lovecraft Country universe, the Cthulhus, before they even arrive in Earth, they start communicating with you through your dreams. So that whole opening sequence in the pilot was Tick's dream. And we know that dreams are made of interpretations, right? They're not exactly what it is, but we interpret it. So before all this magic and stuff starts conjuring up, Tick is having dreams about this spiritual, magical communication, right? This premonition. So we have Red Princess falling from the UFO's light in Tick's dream, which is the future premonition of Christina under the moonlight. Not the Red Princess, but drenched in Tick's blood. These two images, they're the exact same, but we didn't know what it would mean down the line. We didn't know what it would mean down the line. I have to start reading the chat, Michelle. It's so funny. But this is the full circle moment here. This is how we got here. Right? The battle of the invulnerable bitches. We both can't die. What's up? Right? Letty casting a spell, calling upon the darkness, and we still have a fighting chance to bind Christina if we can just connect Tick's body to Christina's body to Titus's body ingested by Tick. We learned that the blood vial earlier was not Christina's at all. So we still have to try to use this spell to get them. And now we have not quite a red princess, but a princess and an unhuman being nonetheless, coming to save Tick from a huge threat. Gia turning into a monster to become the hero. Connecting all three bodies as the nine-tailed Kumiho. Gia gets the same lesson that Letty and Hannah got. What appeared to be a curse was actually a gift. A gift. Once you can lean into it, once you know how to use it, once you stop fearing it, cultivate it. Come on, Gia. The monster is a hero. If you stop fighting it, if you just stop fighting it, CJ says, damn, Gia came through in a clutch. Cleve said, this scene was too quick for me too. Mara Cherie says, Mara says, Rufus was left to take care of D. I'm not calling that thing Rufus. Oh my gosh. Mara says this baby experienced so much trauma, not even born yet. In Letty's belly just rattling like a little pea. I'm like, Mommy, you have to sit your ass down. I'm getting dizzy in here. And because Gia can see into the people who she connects to via her tales, she can see visions of both Tick and Christina. So these are some of her visions. Dee and Tick petting on that black Shoggoth. Fucking Rufus. Fucking Rufus. And Christina confirming that she killed Ruby in order to access these people. And like you guys are saying in the chat, to keep them safe, because at the end of the day, she needs Tick alive in order for this all to happen. She needs him alive. So how does she hitch a ride? How dare she just hitch a ride? That's rude. It's giving Cersei. White big villain crushed by the rocks of her castle. Crushed yet again, right? And Letty binds every white person in the world from magic. Let's lean back into our full circle moment. Hannah, Tick's ancestor, hid the Freeman bloodline from those who knew magic, and now Letty hides the magic from white people. We're not the ones who's going to be hiding. We're going to hide it from you. You can see us. You know where we at. You can't access us no more. Beautiful ending. The entire episode needed a bit more flavor. Beautiful ending. I like this. It was rude. All white people cannot use magic. It was very rude. I loved it. Tick has a final secret. He has a final secret. He knew he was going to die. I estimate right after he spoke to Dora in the ancestral plane, he said, Mama, I don't want to die. But he kept lying to Letty and Gia about it. No, Letty, that's wrong. We're going to make it through. I'm going to get through this. Ain't going to happen, Pop. Nah, I got it. Then he goes to Gia in the bar. Look, that's wrong. Your vision was wrong. I'm not going to die. I'm good. He said he went ahead and did this in this letter to Montrose, which was his greatest sacrifice. And he wishes his father supreme happiness and to be the one to break the general curse. We've healed it together. I've paid the cost. We are family. I will give this to you. I don't know why he lied. And I'll probably talk to my VIPs post show to figure out our final thoughts. But I don't know why he lied to them. But maybe he just needed them to not worry and to be engaged and go ahead with the plan or whatever. But he knew he was going to die the whole time as soon as he got back. There was also this moment where they were collecting in George's bookstore, and he just kind of stopped and like look around and took that last moment and just to remember his family. Mara says, I can't stand Montrose, but I love Montrose. That's what Tick said at the beginning. Deeply flawed characters, but you're going to love them through their imperfections. That's exactly it. That is exactly it. I want to talk about this arm and this shot, which when I went back to watch the pilot, I screamed. This is my biggest and favorite full circle moment. This is why Diana should have been God, but whatever. When Diana gets her robotic arm, this is the end result of what we see compared against how we met Diana, who sees Tick again for the first time. When Diana first sees Tick come back home, they meet through a portal. It's a window, but it's a portal. Look where she's at and look where he's at on the telescope, right? They're meeting through the eye of a universe, meeting with this telescope binding them to the outer worldly sight. And when Tick comes back from that portal where Hippolyta got lost for a little bit, he says he met a hooded figure with a robotic arm that gave him the copy of his son's LoveCraft Country novel. And we know for a fact that this is Diana. And this little Easter egg in the pilot confirms that she was the one who met Tick in the outer universe. How slight, very slight, them two meeting in the portal, and then they will meet in the portal later. It was beautiful. It was obviously beautiful. Kay Brown says, I honestly don't think he's dead. If they give it season 2, we just gonna bring it. All we gotta do is bring him back. That's all we, right? Well, I don't know. Diana's arm stayed dead. They did what they could, but that she lost the arm, God forbid. So I hope 2K that they bring him back because I don't see why he would have to stay dead. And this final shot, well, next to final shot, where Christina uses magic to save Dee. Dee used her power to kill Christina. Sorry, eye for an eye, bitch. Dee's still alone. Or not, because she got Rufus here. But the baby, nobody went to the baby. Whatever. And this final shot where Dee's got a shoggoth and an arm. And I mean, I guess, girl, you know what I mean? Like, it couldn't have been like more. It couldn't have been more. I want to jump to my VIPs and get your final overall thoughts on the season finale, lasting questions. What we for chop boat. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that.
Okay, the part where you say that they show the memory of Tick and Diana with the little beast, the Shaga, is that what you call it? And they was patting his head. That's not what it was. He was getting the beast to recognize Diana's scent and feel, so that when he was gone, she was now the one that was going to be taking care of that little beast, and it was going to be protecting her.
Oh, so he got it to attach to Dee.
Right.
Okay. I like it. That makes sense. Last thoughts. Y'all really calling this Shoggoth Rufus. I can't. Go ahead, Cal.
I just want to say, like, if there is a season 2, I want to dive into more of the whole Diana god-like dynamic because they were definitely set up the pieces, as you said. I actually want to take it back to that incantation kind of from episode 4, where it's like Adam named, Eve fucked, and then it ends with God smites Christina or God smites Eve. And so, in the sense, God, if Diane is God, she smited Eve / Christina. And I think it was more so.
Go ahead, Calvin.
And I wanted to, yeah, because essentially in the book that that Diana was reading, she said he knew telling a story was a kind of power, but he also knew it wasn't enough. If they were going to ever truly disrupt the hierarchy of warlocks, they would have to spill blood other than their own. So that was, and in the book, Diana is portrayed as a boy, so she knew that this he would be herself, and that she would have to kill off Christina for good, if she knew that they were ever gonna, come out of this.
And isn't that another full circle moment? Because that's exactly what Christina was fighting against this entire time, having to be compared against men, having to ride around as this man in order to have some power, some space in this world. And the fact that Dee freely names herself him just because she could, that's sort of just more like stomping it on Christina's head, like, you stupid feminist.
Mm-hmm. And I think it confirms that Diana has a power of manifesting things that she creates in her comics as the creator.
Yes, but she also drew those Topsy and Bopsies. So do you think there's any power in those drawings? Do you think that there's any relation? And because she also like became them as well. Do you think there's anything there?
I think it was her becoming them was sort of the manifestation, and I don't know if they're gonna come back to that in season 2, if there is a season 2, but I would love to explore more of Diana's power, because it is kind of sort of confirmed now that she has this power, that what she can storytell becomes manifested.
I think it kind of goes back to we are both light and dark. So I think that was like the full circle of her understanding that she has that darkness in her, that she created the demons or whatever.
Mm-hmm. This Eve 957 asks, why did they leave Christina alive under the blocks? Which I would guess they figured they got magic, she don't. Now she's just a skinny white lady, and that is her death. But Dee said, "Oh no, motherfuckers." But that was silly. I think in any movie, leaving your villain kind of alive is always the stupid choice. But I guess they needed to give Diana an action in this finale because she sat in a trunk for the whole time with that amazing arm. With the Shoggoth, like, I've already complained about the lack of the Shoggoth enough. You guys have heard my opinion, X, Y, and Z. Clevelo asked, did Dee go back in time with that arm to kill Christina? Which I thought it was present. I don't believe she went back in time. I think it was the night of. And now that the black Shoggoth killed the white Shoggoth, y'all could jump in as well. They just took the walk down to where the action was and finished off Christina.
I know a lot of people don't really like that Diana was the one to take out Christina, and they wanted it to be Letty for, to avenge her sister, to avenge Ruby and all that kind of stuff. But I find some power in that scene, because to me that represent when Diana killed Christina, represented to me like Diana represents a young black girl, and in this world black girls are not valued, we are not protected, we are not power, we don't have any power, versus the white woman who is the complete opposite. They have the power, they have the protection, and for the roles to be reversed at the end of the story, and for the powerless to become the powerful, and the powerful to become now the powerless and vulnerable, and to be taken out. I found that very significant to me. in my opinion.
Mm.
Ooh, to piggyback, I think too, it's like a new way. So she represents the new generation's way of dealing with the problem. Let's just kill it.
Yes, that.
Look, let me tell you something about Jordan Peele. He gonna let a black girl kill a white girl. He do it in all his movies. He has some. This is my Christmas do-rag, which I haven't worn in a few years. But Jordan Peele gives the power to the black girls to go ahead and kill some white lady, even though he got a white wife. But I'm like, how do you make that decision in your movies and then go home and face somebody that you love and did that to the people?
I would love to hear the conversations that he and his wife have. Like, Jordan, we need to talk.
He's like, back of the room, Wigger.
But he also has a white mother too, right? So
Yes, he absolutely does. I mean, biracial people marry white people all the time. To be honest, if you grow up with a half white parent, you're not gonna see white people as this all extensive evil. Like, like there's a whole different experience with that. And I'm sure an empathy that comes along with that. Mara Cherie says, I love the symbolism of Dee doing what needed to be done, letting her rage out on the right person. Dahlia says, am I the only one who thinks that there is another version of Diana? She said, you never learn, to Christina as if she was familiar with her. I could be wrong, but I think it's possible since her mom travels. Two Dianas. Well, now I'm thinking, hold up. Because that line did catch me a little bit, and I was like, what is Diana teaching? Is she talking to like white women? Is she talking to white people? Is she talking to Christina? And we have never seen Diana and Christina like interact. So that line did stick out to me, but I think I just kind of like fell out right there. I was like, whatever. Do y'all think that has any meaning? Where Diana teaching Christina a lesson? Do you think this is a parallel Diana going from Earth 504 to whatever dimension she chooses?
Somebody brought up in another discussion I was in about that. They theorized that the what's the godlike being with the afro was his name, beyond whatever she called her name, in the I Am episode with Hippolyta.
Yeah, she says I Am.
They theorized that that's Diana.
I theorized it too. Not like that.
Oh, you did too?
I theorized that too. I was like,
oh, okay. Maybe it was your discussion. I don't know, but somebody pointed out. I'm like, really? Huh? It could be. That makes sense.
Because like there was this one in that one episode where I think Diana was coming back from Topsy and Bopsy, or whatever. She was in the bed. They kept shooting her from that God view, and they did her hair the same exact afro shape as the God figure. So I was like, are you trying to say she's God? Are you trying to say that was Diana? Are you trying to like, what are we saying here? There was similarities there on purpose, but I don't know if they were the exact same being.
I don't know. What do you guys think? You think that the guideline?
I do think that Beyond Cess, I think that was the name of that lady. I think that might be Diana somewhere in the multiverse. But I don't know if I agree that the Diana in the final scene was a different one. I think that's our Diana.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was sort of like a callback to just to white people in general. Like, oh, you guys never learn. Maybe she still has like that rage from Bobo's death.
Yeah.
She just wants some sort of like justice. Especially since Christina just killed Tick as well, which is her family.
And her daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Liam says, because we never learn, even after they inflict pain, we still show mercy. It's proof of our origin. Whew. Look, y'all are really deep. Y'all are brilliant. You guys are such incredible and fun thinkers. I enjoy sharing this space with you all the time. I especially want to thank my VIPs who have joined me live on the chat. Tia, Christine, Khaled, and Elle. Thank you guys for sharing your time and your opinions. You guys all in the chat, thank you for being here yet again. I appreciate all of the jokes and the hypotheses and the dissections happening in the chat. I hope to start a new series sooner than later, but I'm still deciding on which one that will be. But tomorrow, in spirit of Halloween, I'm going to dissect a horror movie. We've all, maybe most of us, have seen Us, the movie by Jordan Peele. And so tomorrow at 6 p.m. EST, we are back on YouTube and we are going to dissect Us, which some plot holes, some fun times, horror things. So we're just going to have a good old time tomorrow. Cool. Thank you guys so much again. I'm going to go ahead and end my stream on YouTube. Follow me on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter. Y'all know what that's at already. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.